actually going to start this episode letting everyone know your support is really needed over on Patreon. YouTube revenue continues its downfall, and your help is what keeps me on here. Check it out below, and thank you so much. You know what I don't understand? How a multi-million-dollar company like Bethesda struggles to make a crowd of 20 people sound like a crowd, instead sounding like 4 guys making noises, yet this sounds like 350 dudes. Real cross-reference win here, but just finished Jobless Reincarnation's second half of part 1 of season 2, real mouthful there, and he did a great job as the purple demon dude with 8 limbs. Take that win. Finding an absolutely brilliant way of keeping them on the farm by caring for her and obviously being unable to risk moving her. That's some genius writing, that is. Was waiting for that moment and it was lovely. Appreciate seeing work on the defences going on in the background. Nice touch there. Normally people point and someone looks and immediately sees whatever it is, but here he looks literally down his arm to where his finger is pointing. Shockingly, I don't think any of these guys are CGI, since there's no obvious signs of copy and pasted characters, so that's pretty awesome. It started far quicker than I thought it would, but here we go, it's kicking off! Thorgil loving the situation, but understanding that they really don't get how 100 highly trained soldiers can easily take out 300 farmhands and people who've never swung a sword in their lives. That. Watching shows like Vikings, which is a good show, but it makes you think Vikings ran into battle with shirts on pretty much, but this anime is actually showing realism by him donning his armor. And there's the answer to the question I've had brewing. As it turns out, he's not the real deal. Take a win for confusing the heck out of me. I switched back and forth a few times. Oh man, the way they did that, just building extreme and dangerous levels of hype. I wrote what I wrote and then you go and give me that? That's 2 max wins, that is. That's some Lord of the Rings business. Such awesome animation goodness there as they staggered the characters so it doesn't appear flat. It appears like a sweeping shot across their forces. And that's how you do some distance shots whilst large groups are fighting. You use CGI on the first, but pan it off quick, and then I don't even know how they did the second distance shot. It was great. No running on the spot. I've said it for 2 seasons now, and I'm saying it again. This old dude is an absolute legend. And how, just like her husband, she's going through the same experience, flitting between life and death. They do a stupidly great job here of doing reflections in this place, like it's legit perfection.
お世話になった者たちに別れを伝えてくるといい。ここで子供たちと待っているよ。
Such a clever and not on the nose approach to her swaying between the planes, as it were. That dark forest basically representing her life, but light shines through still and life struggles on. Wish I could show more, but even with my followers funding the channel, can't risk a community strike or whatever, but definitely a big win for the slaughter on display. Such dangerous levels of hype though! Excellent and dark start to episode 20, lots of internal red body juices flying everywhere and limbs being taken off by people and everything else. It's great stuff! After the last win, it then gets even darker, but they do some beautifully looking CGI in the fights. That was insanely well done for CGI, I must admit. God, I wish I could show this! Snake was the height of awesome and rushed in to denoginate the guy, almost taking out Badger. It was so damn sick! A good scene here, but too much to show everything. But Keto learns a lesson in the end about himself and the life he led, perhaps, as his own people abandon him and ultimately he's taken out. We already had dangerous levels of hype, and this isn't helping matters. It's becoming too much. Due to the last win and ones like it, I'm giving 2 max wins here. This has been built up beautifully. I'm so nervous. Vinland really threw me for a loop with all of these battles to round out the second season. He saved the king just, but got a finger in the eyeball for his troubles. Oh, that was so nasty. The end to their battle for now, incredible end with the voice actor too, showing pure anger at being driven away. Some of the best animated running I've seen this year. Snake is still alive thankfully, as is the Master. Wish I could show more, but they really went all in on the 18+ rating. But yes, the end of an amazing battle, easily a big win for the season. This whole scene can have 2 wins already. I never thought they'd be able to hurt me as much as they did when he passed, but they're on the right track. Her thanking them, wanting to let go and be with her husband and children, Aina's pain after her thanking him for their morning chats. Such incredible writing. Oh, it's so good! That powerful music backing it up too. Outstanding! He finally said it in the moment that it meant the most to him. I have to say it again. Incredible writing to have timed it to happen here and now when it mattered most. Well, they got me in the end. It reminds me of something I wrote in the 3rd quarter, I think, that fairy tales are lovely, but rarely ever come true, and this anime sticks to that. Would have been amazing for her to wake up and be okay, and her and Aina manage a good life together, but that's not how the world works. Max wins. It's shocking to me how far the voice actor has come playing this character, belting out fantastic performances the past half dozen episodes or so, and that's very much the case here. This is like the climax of Thorfinn's journey to get to this point in his life, and this second season did the best job ever of getting him there. Also take a follow-up win for their friendship shining through even after giving each other a punch. He cares so much about Einar now, it's amazing to witness in all honesty.
俺たちのご先祖様は逃げて戦いを逃れて
Not gonna lie, right away, seeing that view of a young Thorfinn and Leif made me tear up. Unreal how only 2 seasons have come and gone, and yet it feels like so much longer.
どんなに悪く転んでも生きて戻るだけならなんとかなる
Almost was though Leif felt in that moment that Thorfinn was no longer a child in need of saving and bringing home, but instead a man and a warrior, and a wise one at that. Felt really impactful. Unexpected art style change, the close-up of his eye looking the best part of it, so vivid. It wouldn't shock me to find out that a lot of the symbolism involved with Knut's story is inspired by Griffith's story in Berserk. Genuinely a little shocked how willing they are to display everything violence-wise to do with their battle. Wow! Just very real human emotions on display.
おふくろやみんなには悪いと思ってる。でも俺が始めたから、俺が終わりにして。
Again, just very much hats off to them for excellent voice acting and animation with those human emotions on display from him. Also part of the win is for the twist that it ends up being his decision to fight or give up.
でも俺が向こうに戦のきっかけを与えちまった。お前はあの時、名誉を守った。違う！こんなもん勇気じゃねえ俺には黙って笑われる勇気がなかった。
Yes, it's the word of the last few wins, but you gotta admit his character has grown immensely over the past few episodes, and it really shows. I'm wondering if the intended contrast there was to signify that between these two, one of them is proud enough to admit defeat and end this war, and it's, surprisingly, the man on the right.
農場と引き換えにお前のせがれは男になった。
Take a win for him beautifully laying out what I just wrote for the last win, basically.
どうしてなぜ行かせたんですか
そのトルフィンが戻ると言ったんだ。わしはあの目を信じる。
Few times in my life do I feel proud for writing something spot on for what the mangaka wanted to impart upon me. I'm no English language expert, I failed high school in England, but I got this one right at win number 378, and it does make me proud to be honest.
農場の奉公人トールズの子トルフィンと名乗ったそうです。
Goodness me, they did the reaction from Canute even stronger than I thought they would. That was hard hitting.
いかがいたしましょう陛下。お会いになりますか。
いやその必要はない
And that's a straight up plot twist win because it's not at all how I thought it'd go after that reaction.
やり合う気はないんです
In classic Vinland style, the animation continues to look fantastic on battles this season. Smooth as hell.
アホお前を止めに来たに決まってんだろすまん
Ah, they're such great friends, you love to see it. Amazing how far they've come through the season.
じゃあ100発だな。100発耐えればお前の勝ちだ。
Giving this a win for making me feel absolutely sick to my stomach hearing that number. I'm worried now. God, what a montage that was. Makes win number 391 feel even greater as it details so much of his life. That panning shot had so many frames to make it that smooth, it's nuts! What an end to the episode!
Thorfinn, それがお前のこれからの生き方なのか。
This was apt because I felt myself thinking the same way. It's noble, but not really smart, and a long-lasting approach to anything worthwhile doing.
やべ
Half the win is because I enjoyed seeing Snake's genuine concerned reaction once he saw it was Thorfinn, but of course secondly it's Mappa's excellence in creating pure anxiety in me.
何も考えずに剣で答えただけだろうがよ。
As painful as it is to watch, I find myself overcome with pride watching Thorfinn struggle on with his newfound notion of pacifism. Then they hit those musical notes. I swear Vinland has one of the best official soundtracks out there. It's so hard-hitting and emotional, and this track right here is no different and plays at just the right time. Complete and utter badass right there, plus some more instances of the best voice acting I've heard this year. Also take another one here for, of course, going without that OP for extra content. How, by this point, no one even derives any joy out of this, probably filled with a mixture of sickness and pride towards Thorfinn as the clear underdog. The young man there, likely learning a life lesson he didn't expect, I should think. What a moment! Thorfinn winning against someone twice his size or more, taking every punch he could throw and yet being the last one standing. I'm shocked. Hearing that almost makes the whole thing worthwhile. It doesn't, but it nearly does. Bless him. Thorfinn, I mean.
和平交渉の相手をぶん殴ってりゃ世話ねえぜ。あんた方とは今日会ったばかりだ。
I love how his new brain works. It's so logical now compared to the past. He really didn't know what he wanted to become. He knew he hated what he was, but was unsure how to evolve, and now he has.
あんた方は俺の敵じゃない。俺に敵なんかいない。
Such a ridiculously easy win, exactly what his father wanted all those years ago, for his son to not live a life filled with needless violence and guilt and regret and revenge, and now it's happened. It's not just been decided, but now finally it's been acted upon, if that makes sense.
戦争を起こす張本人に会うんだ。お前も言いたいことがあるだろう。
That's awesome. So much has happened since their chat about ending all violence that I forgot it even happened till now. These two finally being face to face again after so many years.
建前並べたって隠せねえぞ。王様なんて言っても実際ただの強盗じゃねえか。
I cannot fib. Watching Aina go off like this is gonna make my heart explode or something. I really like the guy. I'm so worried someone's gonna take a swing at him or something.
よこそは帝王、北海最強のバイキングである。
Amazing at what even a slight alteration to the shadows can do to expose an evil man's face.
帝王クヌートの名において波よ沈まれ。寄せるさざ波さえ止めることができぬ。
I was so very confused there for a minute. Oh, I thought I'd be rolling my eyes. Seriously? The sea went dead calm after he said it? So glad he was making a poetic point instead.
神に捨てられたこの者たちを救わねば、楽土建設など到底かなわぬ。
俺には思いつきもしなかった。バイキングを救うなんて。
Getting our first proper understanding of where Canute is coming from, how his opinions changed over time, and what is now the driving force behind him.
だが、そのために今日てめえに殺される人間は誰が救うんだ?
Obviously great voice acting, but that level of quality in the animation is godlike!
あるまいな。奴らは哀れな羊の群れ。
I often think symbolism is much ado about nothing. Someone may think the colour purple means that when someone sneezed it was representing their childhood and stuff. But Vinland, I get it. It does it great. Even if it's as simple as light versus dark and commoners being sheep to be guided or used by the king here.
お前が権力に任せて無茶を通すつもりなら俺は逃げる。
Few anime can trick me so well. It's building. The shadow of a king in his mind is telling him he's dangerous and to kill him, and then he says he'll run, and I'm like, oh damn, you tricked me.
そなたは優れた戦士だ。他にも術があろう。そなたは
Is it me overthinking things, or did any of you get the feeling that Canute didn't want him leaving there? Whether it be because he felt a lack of power over how things ended, or wanted to talk more on the subject, or anything else? Let me know your thoughts. Felt to me like he wanted to keep him there for a bit longer. Going first person like it's no big deal whatsoever?
バイキングの中からこのような男が生まれうるのか。美しい男だ。
What a serene and beautiful moment. I guess in the end I was right. He did want him to stick around in order to say this wonderful thing to him. Max wins for that. Take a win here for the guards raising their spears during the long and peaceful talks after pointing them at those two for the entire time before now.
こりゃどこ行ったクヌート。まだ決着はついてねえだろうが。
I can't believe it, really. The conversation clearly went back and forth for hours, and truly did end up with Thorfinn and Einar walking away having achieved their aims. I'm stunned, to be honest.
他の農場を接収する計画も白紙に戻す。トルフィンの仕事を増やしては悪いのでな。だが今日、新たな仲間を得た。
God, I love this anime so much. No one is black and white. Canute really had his mind changed, meeting someone like Thorfinn, and it's given him a new outlook on life. Not enough to turn him into something he's not, but enough to make him rethink things. And that to me is wonderful character writing. It really is.
征服者と非征服者の関係が変化しようとしていた。
Then this happens, just proving from a look ahead that Canute tried things Thorfinn's way after that fateful day, and it worked. And to my mind, he seemed so much happier in life at the same time.
良い気分だ。
Yes, have a win. I can't believe I was right literally 10 seconds before he himself said it. They used the trees to help cut in the animation for the rotating shot, but it was still a rotating shot. Einar paying respects to everyone he's lost along the way.
地獄を生き死に安らぎを求める魂にどんな言葉をかけられるって言うんだ。生きろと言える世界が欲しい。
Right off the bat, Max wins for the following reasons. Firstly, that tune is new with a tinge of my favourite running through it, but secondly, because the same thought ran in my head when she asked if this new place would have no war or violence, and he didn't answer right away. Love how they're calling back to that here.
それだけよ。それだけよ。みんな求めていたのに。どこにもないならないなら。
What an extraordinarily powerful scene. Thorfinn has genuinely gone, well, they both have really, from being just characters from the first season and second respectively, to actual people. God, I hope we get a season 3. I really, really do.
兄弟、一緒に来い。
やろう、兄弟。アルネイズのために。
I love that an unreasonable amount. Oh my god, I'd even forgotten about them with everything that happened. Great way to end their leaving. Even better that the old man was still okay by then. Such an insanely good anime this is.
本当にありがとう。いや、トルフィン、俺はあなたのようになりたい。
Just when I didn't think it could possibly get any better, we see the farewell. We get to witness the young lad inspired by Thorfinn, wanting to live his life an entirely different way now. True growth.
やっと自分が何をすべきか分かったんです。
Soon as that music kicked in, I started tearing up for some reason.
大旦那様、ありがとうございました。いつも力になってくださって。
You literally score another one for showing them thanking him.
俺の名はロワルド。グリムの子、ロワルドだ。ありがとう、ロワルドさん。
皆さん、お元気で。
If the last one had me wavering, which it did, this one tipped me over the edge of Tear Valley. They absolutely killed it. I'm crying, man. They packed such excellence into a short period of time. Kettle's silence, almost like he's dead inside now as a tear rolls down his cheek. His son throwing in his lot with just a good woman who cares about him and dedicating himself to farming, and the former soldiers doing the same. Max wins. Don't even know why, but it means so much to me to see him get to witness Snake, his friend, changing his life like he offered to him in the heat of the moment before, to see him smile and grip tight to stay in this life. You want to keep me tearing up through the end of episode 23? I'll keep giving you wins in return, goodness me.
騎士に勝るとはこのことだな。
ドルフィン、エイナル、村が見えたぞ。
It may have taken around 45 episodes, but your boy Thorfinn is finally home at long, long last. Stunning Iceland scenery shot.
ファクシー？
間違えた。怪しいぞこいつ。
Stand by for the word of the series. The whole first interaction scene was funny but fueled by realism. Would have been a bit silly for him to return so many years later knowing everyone by name. They really didn't have to pour so much detail into these items, but they did anyway.
やっと連れ帰ったぞ。
姉上！
おいこらチビこら！レフさんたぶらかしてどういう魂胆だ！
Needless to say, this is 100% not how I thought this scene would go down. She's grown into quite the skeptical badass over the years, hasn't she? It's really sweet that it was a fake Thorfinn from over the years that ends up being the trigger he needed to convince him to snap out of it and go see his home and his mother, because at least he has those.
トルフィン。
おふくろ。何を！てめえこれ以上ややこしくすんな！
They really did just fill this episode with so much comedy suddenly.
トルフィン。
母上。
Had me laughing one moment, turned to tears so quickly the next. That's some writing, isn't it? All of those raw emotions of a child return to his mother, who's been through so many horrors just pouring out of him. God, that's something else, that is. Take 2 wins for the whole scene, actually. Said it before and I'm saying it again, love this guy. He dedicated years upon years of his life to make this moment happen, and when it does, he's just filled with pure happiness.
ドルフィン、あれ、俺がバカだったんだ。
I think the only reunion I've ever seen in anime that even comes close to this episode and what was built before it has to be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. A masterpiece this has been.
トルフィンの兄弟なら、あなたは私の息子よ。
She's such a sweet woman. This moment must have meant a lot to Einar too, having lost his so long ago. You really wouldn't think repeating the same joke would get the same reaction, but it really does. I laughed so much Titan started giving me concerned looks.
その憎悪と闘争、死と破壊。
俺が殺してしまった人たち、絶望の中で死んでいった奴隷たち、平和の国を築くために
ヴィンランドへ。
Honestly, that's twice, bruh! That they made me laugh so hard and it got me to tear up so soon after. Just hearing that music and his sad, sad tale hit me right in the gut.
そのために生きなさい。トールズの子、トルフィン。
Absolutely amazing how they use voice acting, music and animation to craft such an important scene like this. For me, this whole season has really been one giant masterpiece, and I mean that.
わしの助けがなければな。
Leaf continues to be one of my favourite characters in the series by offering up his help to the two of them, and one more time for the video and season, that's realism. You can't just see Thorfinn and Einar make their way off to Vinland and magically create a country on their own.
俺なんかには見えない。ずっと先を見ていた。
It almost feels like all this time later, the imagery of Thor's in the fields, the talking about peace, kind of feels like this was Thor's dream initially, to create this same ideal in Vinland, and if so, that's fantastic to come up with that from, I believe, the first episode or two.
昔、父上が守ろうとした人だ。
羊8頭と。お前のお人よしは親父譲りだな。
I had totally forgotten about this, but looking back, it really did say so much about who Thor's had turned into over the years, and exactly who Thorfinn has become himself over his own painful years. Was a little too much to show, but definitely one for him seeing himself from the past and his father again. That was pure heart there and solidified his Vinland mission. Between that music and those images of the past and present coming together, tying the whole story to date with a neat and tidy bow, God willing, heading into a third season, they get max wins. Plus new Thorfinn. I'm ending this video with one last win. For me, it matched, maybe even surpassed, the greatness of the first season. I was utterly hooked from episode 1 to 24, and it never let me go once. The character building was some of the best I've ever witnessed in watching over 5,000 episodes of anime, and it had gorgeous music and animation throughout. I really hope you enjoyed this journey with me. If you want to keep me doing this work, I'd greatly appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon linked below. It's really needed right now, more than ever. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Creator follower, Lifty, Nick Wyndham, Nightly Winter, Christopher Willis, Hinakami and Water, Marquez, Orkeeper, The Epicommander, Bertha Without a Word, Brandon Creer, Burn 100B, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Aaron Winters, Yor Edvinson, Kepan, Kevin Alston, Cumfreak, Kylie Welp, Magnus, Matthew Blanchett, Nathan Burr, Sataka Yari, Sean, Sebastian Ramirez, Wicked Faye, Ali 50, Brainless Ben, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Hoved Lowe's Ritter, Isel Caldera, Jaffa6263, Kelnock, Kevin Nelter, Laxus, Lionel Schultz, Marvin, Nick Monaco, 9028, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Peter Milligan, Sentimento, Stan, Storm 970, The Element Taylor Wars, Tricky Nicky,